You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Understanding that balance is an illusion will help people realize that striving for work-life balance is an aspiration in futility, which will only lead to frustration and stress. Living a harmonized life, on the other hand, is a completely different ballgame. As a true professional or entrepreneur, which do you desire or are you working towards? Balance or harmony? Welcome to the Harmonized Life podcast. I am the harmonizer. My name is Nkem Ofonabo. Hi, welcome to the Harmonized Life podcast by Nkem Ofonabo, the harmonizer on Africa Business Radio. Our focus is to educate you of the need to move away from the narrative of balance to harmony, because balance promotes the strive for equilibrium between work and life. However, the extent to which one is a priority over the other changes during an individual's day, week, year, and even a lifetime. Harmony, on the other hand, is a deliberate choice to meaningfully, deeply, and rewardingly prioritize the key areas of life, such that you are living a wholesomely productive and fulfilling life at work, at home, in your community, and within self. So, welcome to the Harmonized Life podcast. Welcome back to the Harmonized Life podcast with Nkem Ofonabo, the harmonizer on Africa Business Radio. Human beings are naturally social creatures. We crave friendship and positive interactions. The better the quality of your friendship at work, at home, in the society, and within self, the happier and more productive you're going to be. If you want to experience freedom from negative energy, develop your career or business, and live a happier life, you must be intentional about building meaningful relationships. You will agree with me that there are certain people who will come into your life and something definitely changes, either for good or bad. The difference between where you are and where you ought to be is in the quality of your relationship. So, who is in your circle? When we come back, we are going into our guest segment where I will interact with Mrs. Tolu Afonja, fondly called the Nurturer, a certified integrative life, relationship and marriage coach, a master practitioner of Neuro-Linguistic programming, an emotional intelligence certified professional with over 15 years as a human resource professional cutting across education, banking, consulting, and coaching. We will be discussing the topic, evolving to thrive in relationship. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Harmonized Life podcast with Nkem Ofonabo, the harmonizer. Hello, Tolu. I'm super excited to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Nkem.
Awesome. Thank you for honoring my invitation.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, so let's get to meet the delectable, soft-spoken, and amiable Tolu Afonja, and tell us also why you are fondly called the Nurturer.
Okay, so who is Tolu Afonja? Tolu Afonja is passionate about nurturing individuals and couples evolve to thrive in their life, relationships, and marriage. And I do this by helping you to gain clarity, overcome mindset limitations, discover your options, set and take intentional steps to optimize the best version of yourself such that you enjoy a happy, fulfilled, and intentional, satisfied life. I am the nurturer because I partner with you.
I love that, the nurturer.
I partner with you to empower you to become the best that you've been created to be. To be that masterpiece. And I'm helping you in that evolution process.
And relationship is meant to be nurtured. For you to get the benefit, all the benefits that a relationship offers, you need to nurture that relationship. So it just aligns with who you are. I love that identity. Okay, so tell me, what's your typical day like? How do you navigate the various demands of being a wife, a mother, a career professional, and everything in between?
So before now, I used to be very overwhelmed with everything in terms of having to, the day just starts with no plan, no schedule, just taking things as they come and allowing people to I didn't take ownership of my day. But now I know better, and so yes, I'm more intentional. So I have schedules that I follow, and so I use schedules. Even my children's visiting in school and all is all scheduled. When I need to go somewhere, it's all scheduled.
So I cannot just come and say, Tolu, please, like, let's do this, let's do that. And you tell me, okay, I need to find somewhere to fix that in my schedule.
Well, it's not that it can't be disrupted because, of course, the nature of my work to also allow some disruptions. I mean, some emergencies come in between, and you know that if you need to attend to it in that moment, otherwise something more drastic can happen.
Okay, so if I'm flexible,
I'm flexible. I'm not rigid.
And you're flexible.
Yes. So a lot of it, a lot of scheduling has helped me, and with scheduling also comes my values. So I know how to prioritize based on my values, and then also. What else? So I have a family, I have children, so I'll prioritize my time with my children. And, when I put in the schedules, I know, no, this is not going to be disrupted because I need to enjoy this time with my family. I'm also working, I'm employed. So, and I also have goals to achieve there.
In the case of emergency, there are things we don't plan for. In case of emergency, which area do you prioritize more?
So in the case of emergency, priority is in my client.
Okay.
Because it is an emergency. An emergency may have to do with a life or death situation. So once a life is involved, I will do what I can do to help, nurture and ensure that life is saved in one way or the other. To impact, I'm not a savior, but, yes. So every other thing is to explain why I can't be available for whatever it is that emergency comes up. And usually when we hear the word emergency, it is like, well, I really need to put myself in this other situation to help in any way that I'm able to help.
Awesome. I love all your perspectives. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll go into the topic of today.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Understanding that balance is an illusion will help people realize that striving for work-life balance is an aspiration in futility, which will only lead to frustration and stress. Living a harmonized life, on the other end, is a completely different ballgame. As a true professional or entrepreneur, which do you desire or are you working towards? Balance or harmony? I am the harmonizer. My name is Nkem Ofonabo. Welcome back to the Harmonized Life podcast with Nkem Ofonabo, the harmonizer. Hi Tolu, I hope you're enjoying our conversation.
Oh yes, very interesting. I think we're going to go a deep dive further.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, what exactly is a meaningful or a valuable relationship, right? And what is the role of personal values in sustaining relationships?
The role of values in relationships. Really, when we talk about values, you first need to know what your values are.
Absolutely.
And the knowledge of those values and knowing this is the impact of these values in my life. These are the outcomes these values have generated in my life. So when you talk about values and value-based relationships, in terms of, you know that whoever you're in a relationship with, or whatever the defined relationship is, you know what the connecting factor is between yourself and the persons. So you know that because I'm having this business deal with this person because I value integrity and this person values integrity. And so there's a level of trust. I can go to bed and allow this person to do some work. So that is just an example of bringing in your personal values in relationships. But where your values are clashing, there will always be conflicts. And it is important that we know what these values are as an individual. So you know what is driving you, what is pushing you to make some decisions. Some people will just make decisions and they're like, I don't know, I just did it. And when you ask questions and dig deeper, then they're not able to reflect and said, okay, why did I actually make this? Is because I cherish my peace. I cherish my sanity. So they are high on their peace, on their inner peace. And then maybe there was some work or some job that was going to disrupt that peace and they didn't know it was going to disrupt it. And so they just walked away, which could have looked as if this person is not a serious person, and did not know how to communicate that I'm sorry, this job, I can't take up the job, but you just disappear into thin air. So when we talk about values, it's first to know why we behave the way we behave, those pushers underneath, and then it will also help you to know the kind of decisions you're making in relationships, the kind of commitment you're ready to, make in relationships, and who to even partner with or who to even have relationships with, such that you don't have those internal clashes.
So what that means is that every individual must know his or her values.
Should be aware of their values.
Their values.
Be aware of your values. So that when you're going into a relationship of any sort, there must always be a why. There must always be a purpose. So why is it Nkem that I am having this conversation with? And why is it not somebody else? Why? Because I understand you. I understand what your values are in terms of helping people to create harmonized lives, designing harmonized lives. And because I know that I value relationships. I value nurturing. So any subject matter that has to do with relationships, you will find me there.
You can achieve harmony through relationship.
Exactly.
If you are in a healthy one.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love that. So what are those key relationships that every career professional or entrepreneur must have, right? So that's the first question. And how can those relationships, what will be their role in those relationships, and how can it help them thrive across the critical areas of their lives?
So when we look at what are those critical relationships, let me take you from the angle first of the role, because the role would spread across. How you are in one relationship is really how you will be in another relationship, depending on if you find value, if you're enjoying that relationship. So what are those critical relationships? You have relationships with your vendors, you have relationships with your team members, you will have relationships with even your competitors. You know, it's good to have such healthy relationships with them. You will have relationships with if you're in a family, you're married or you're dating anybody, you have a relationship with that person. You know, because that relationship would also infuse how you relate in your career life. You would have relationships even with your creator. Okay, you will have relationships with, if you have a board member, I mean, if you have a board or directors or something, you have relationships with them. You would have, you have relationships with almost anybody that comes into your space.
Even so spirituality, that's with God, and then humanity.
Exactly. Okay. You have with your accountant, your banker, you know, you're going to have
financial relationship.
Your financial relationship.
Okay.
You have with your friends, okay, because you will still have friends, you will have social colleagues, your social network. You would have with your medical persons, your health and fitness, you know, so you need to take care of your health. So you're definitely going to have relationships.
Every critical area of life.
All areas of your life. There's no area. I mean, you started by saying relationship is the bedrock of life. So with anyone that you come in contact with, we are social beings. So whether as a career professional or even as I'm not a career person, I'm just a sit-at-home mom, you're still going to have these relationships that you need to nurture.
So how do we begin to build those relationships and, most importantly, nurture them?
In building the relationships, we need to build ourselves first. Okay? We need to build ourselves first. There's something I always say, know me, know you, and then know us. So,
know me,
know you, and know us.
Okay.
So when you know me, that's I know myself, I understand myself, I'm aware of what drives me, I'm aware of my beliefs, I'm aware of everything about me, you know, my strengths, my weaknesses, and then I get to know you, who I'm in a relationship with, irrespective of whatever defined relationship it is. I get to know this person, and knowing this person, it helps me to understand the dynamics.
That is us.
That is us. You know, how to ensure that relationship will thrive. So first, I need to thrive in my life, and for me, knowing myself comes with understanding my personality, my strengths, my weaknesses, understanding where I am in terms of whether I'm confident, my self-esteem, you know, knowing what I'm aware of. So emotional mastery, what triggers me, what doesn't trigger me, and how do I react when I'm triggered? How would I rather want to react? So personally developing myself and growing to be that wonderful, to be that whole person that when I'm in a relationship with my boss, my colleague, people will not run away from me. So my energy, the energy that I carry as well, I'm intentional about how I want to project myself and how I'm actually projecting myself.
So apart from being aware of myself, what are the things that I have to begin to do to nurture the relationships that I find myself in?
Respect yourself and respect others. You know, yes, you know, respect yourself and respect others. Respect is very key in relationships. Most times we'll talk about respect when it comes to only, you know, man, woman, intimate relationships and all, but everybody needs to be respected. And so you respect yourself and then respect others. Something else that we need to do in nurturing those relationships is trust. Okay, so trust yourself that you're good enough to even go into this relationship, you know. But if you do not trust people, you don't even trust yourself, then you go into a relationship and it becomes messy. Self-love. So love yourself and love others. I'm big on self-love.
Seriously, it is.
You know, because it is how you see yourself, your self-esteem, and what you do to nurture yourself and take care of yourself.
Because it will also help you in situations whereby you find yourself in an abusive relationship. You take that decision to prioritize yourself.
Exactly.
First.
So you value yourself. Loving yourself helps you to value yourself, and it helps you to, identify what is good for you and what is not good for you. So when you are in a toxic environment, you will be sensitive to it. And because you know this is not healthy for me and I love me, I will get me out of that relationship.
Exactly. I think communication is also very powerful in nurturing relationships.
Next to loving yourself and every other thing, next to relationships being the bedrock, communication is the bedrock of relationships.
Exactly.
So everything and anything we do, if communication is not effective, then, the relationship is broken. You can't even talk about every other thing that we're discussing now. Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So finally, what is the role of personality? I know you touched on it when you were talking, but I want us to go deep into it. Some people would tell you, I'm an introvert. I don't need people. I just want to be myself. But I realized that I call myself an introvert, but I realized that I connect deeply with people. Some people, when they see me, they'll be like, Nkem, no. When I say I'm an introvert, they will say, Nkem, no, don't say that. But I know I'm an introvert, but I know how to connect. So what is the role of personality? And what role does it play, rather? And are there support groups or community that people who feel that they are not big on connection, are there support groups that they can even start with to help them? I don't know if you understand my question. Yes.
So personality, yes. The way we use personalities and talk about personalities can either empower or disempower us. So when you say I'm an introvert, you use that as an excuse or a reason why you will not do some things that you should do.
I say it's just a label.
Yes, that's the word. It's just the label. But personality actually is, when we talk about knowing yourself and understanding yourself, this is what I have been, or this is who I am now. But I desire to be someone else. I desire to be a better person. I am evolving. I want to, I want to flourish. I want to blossom as me, and such that when I enter into any relationship, I'm bringing in my best self. So when we look at personalities, yes, it has a role understanding who you are and this is how you are, but it's not a label that's cast in stone. So your personality also helps you to understand where your strengths, where your weaknesses are, what you need to ignite in you, and what you need to make intentional commitment to do. So if, for example, you have a weakness of, that your money style, for example, you're a spendthrift, as a money spender and all, and that is part, you say, that is who I am. So anyway, but then again, you're in a relationship with your accountant, in the office, if you're an entrepreneur, and your accountant is trying to help you nip these things in the bud that, this is my boss. If I leave my boss alone, he'll do all of that. But because you know this, you subject yourself to the specialty of the accountant to help you to navigate that. So it's not to say this is who I am and you just keep flaunting it everywhere. It's good to be proud of it, but you also know that I need help in this area, and then subject yourself to being helped. So it's either, there are very many options, to be helped. You can
Tell me. So that's the role of a support group.
Yes, that's
community.
the role. Yes, the role of a support group. So getting accountability partners. Okay. I have a connection of friends. I call them my power networks.
Nice.
So, it is, then we understand ourselves, we know ourselves. So they know where Tolu may be procrastinating on doing something. And my procrastination is because I'm actually probably feeling that, I'm not ready to come out, or, there's something about it. So what they do is,
try to push you.
Yes, they are your potential pushers. Right now, I have a community called Evolve to Thrive with Confidence community. And we're like potentially pushing ourselves. We're accountable to ourselves within 30 days to try to help you to step out and to stand out as your confident self, because in thriving, you also need to boost your confidence.
Sure.
So there are a lot of support groups once you are ready to be vulnerable, because you can't do this without bringing in an element of your vulnerability.
So if anyone wants to join that community, how can they connect with you?
Well, if you like to join the community, you can connect with me by just sending me an email, evolvetothrivecoach@gmail.com, or my social media handles, simply Tolu Afonja across board.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I truly enjoyed this conversation, and definitely going to bring you back for us to talk about deeper stuff when it comes to relationship, intimacy, and the likes.
I love love. So
exactly.
anyway, I am
and I'm ready to love. So let's talk about it next time. Thank you so much. So listeners, send your questions or contribution through Africa Business Radio and Nkem Ofonabo on Instagram. Also follow us on all our social media platforms to stay updated on new episodes. You can stream or download on Africa Business Radio from other streaming platforms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Understanding that balance is an illusion will help people realize that striving for work-life balance is an aspiration in futility, which will only lead to frustration and stress. Living a harmonized life, on the other end, is a completely different ballgame. As a true professional or entrepreneur, which do you desire or are you working towards? Balance or harmony? I am the harmonizer. My name is Nkem Ofonabo.
You're listening to Africa Business Radio, where you get up-to-date insights on the Africa business landscape. Log on to www.africabusinessradio.com. Your favorite shows are available on podcasts. Download them on our website and mobile app. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.